We're going to run this on the second Friday of every month. But we're going to track a couple things. The month number to make sure that we only create the calendar event on the month that we need to. But I want to highlight the filing name and a special variable there and the web page URL. I wanted to pull those out of the automation. And I began to rework my prompts, right? Instead of hard coding the comptroller website, I made it dynamic. And I made it dynamic because I want to refer to it in a couple places. And just thinking about this over time, I don't want to have to remember all the places where I hard coded the web page. If the web page ever changes, I have to go back and fix all these little things in automation I'm not aware of. And so by making that dynamic, I actually make this easier to maintain, as well as the filing name. If the filing name ever changes, it changes in one place and then it updates everywhere else, which is important because I'm now using the filing name in the tracker. And so all my instructions are here with my specification, and it will run and generate a couple things. The filing name, the form number, if there's a form number associated with it, the link for filing, the thresholds, and relevant deadlines. So the title and the start date of those deadlines. And then we're going to log the change. So the first thing I want to do is go to that spreadsheet and look for the last report. Because again, I don't need it to tell me 12 months out of the year, the franchise deadline is May 15th of the year. That's annoying. I don't need that. However, if it can remember what it said last time and then consider what it found versus what it sees now on the web page, then it can actually do a report. And so that's what I have here. It goes into the spreadsheet, gets the most recent report, and Relay is smart enough to realize that this is a date time field because I named it date time, right? So I named the column date time, which means that now I can track the date and time that the automation runs, which is what I'm doing here, and then set the filing name and filter for it. So another way to word what we're seeing here is whenever this automation runs, I want you to go back 6 weeks ago to look for any updates or reports that you might have done specifically for this filing and get them. Then I want you to take that information from the spreadsheet and the information on the web page and generate a report. And I want those notes to tell me anything that is noteworthy, right? And so I've described what I want there. I want you to look for things like due date changing, threshold changes, new filing instructions or notices, right? And I can become more descriptive. Or if I really wanted to be creative and see what happened, I could have changed my prompt entirely to tell it you are an expert on tax deadlines and you think like a tax advisor and or a consultant. And so therefore, I want you to leverage your expertise to determine what you need to tell me. Now, I'd be nervous writing that prompt because I don't know what that means to the AI. If anything, I would probably add knowledge. Again, going back to knowledge, I'd probably add a couple knowledge files that are quite descriptive in what it means for it to be a tax expert for my business first, before I gave it such an open-ended criteria. But to keep it simple, I narrowed it down to a few things and said, look for these things. These are things I want you to keep track of and put that in the notes. Then I want you to determine if it is email worthy, right? So after you write your notes, is this email worthy enough or urgent enough to tell me? If so, write the urgent email.